Welcome again. Welcome to day 5 of live for life satisfaction. And if you're wondering about my little hand countdown, it's because my Restream software is sometimes cutting off my audio in the beginning. Please fix it. So, in case you didn't join me on day 1, I had my friend Buckley's. No affiliation or sponsorship here, although maybe I should ask about that because I've been struggling with my post-COVID cough. So I've decided to team up with another friend. This is an old Polish remedy that I picked up there called Amyl. No sponsorship or affiliation there. But I might need to pull on my 2 friends here. So I just thought I'd let you know about that. So today is day 5, and we're going to be focusing on an incredible topic. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Viv, your strategist for a meaningful, vibrant, and happy life. And today we're going to be focusing on, what are we focusing on again? Oh yeah, how to step into your meaningful, vibrant, happy self for a happy life, right? And also how to attract love in the process. So this all started, this started a long time ago. However, this was prompted very recently by a friend of mine who gave me the exact same words that I've heard quite a few times and that I've said myself. And this friend said to me, "Oh, I think my ship has just sailed," because they felt like they're maybe too old for love or too old for something that they wanted to do, a dream that they had. And maybe now their dreams have shifted. I can tell you, I've heard this so many times, and it doesn't matter. I've heard this from 20-year-olds. I've heard this from 30-year-olds, from 40-year-olds, from 50-year-olds, and 60-year-olds and up. And, and it just breaks my heart. Even a few weeks ago, I heard it from someone in their 60s, a widow, who said that she feels like, her ship has sailed. Exact same words. Her ship has sailed. She had a beautiful marriage, raised 3 kids, everything wonderful, but unfortunately lost her husband. And she's 60, so over the hill, too late for her. Might as well forget about it. I don't mean to laugh. Like, I know that these people have been through a lot, and I can understand why they have the feelings that maybe it's too late. And I just want to share a personal story of how I was there. So this happened to me in my late 30s. Since I can remember, I always dreamed of having a family, fairy tale wedding and kids and all of that, right? And for those of you who know my journey, I had an extensive journey, which I won't get into right now. And along the way, I had some, romantic relationships, very meaningful, very, very lovely people. But I wasn't, for the longest time, able to find that one, that I was holding out for. And, as a woman, you can feel a little bit nervous as you start to get into your 30s and going up the 30 ladder. I actually wasn't nervous myself initially until I had well-intentioned friends saying, "Hey, Viv, you wanted to have kids, like, have you seen the time? You better start," right? I'm like, well, I don't really just want to go to a clinic and do that. Nothing wrong with that, but I just couldn't imagine doing it on my own. It is a tough job. So props to you who have done that. So I was just really looking for the love of my life, even though I had loved others. I was looking for the love of my life. And, after date after date after date, the apps, the dating apps, they can be so depressing. And then the dates, and they can be so disappointing, even though sometimes a lovely person and sometimes it's like awkward. And just like going to, like, okay, signing up for this meetup and that thing and this event. And I even went to the extent of, like, hiring a dating agency. It was like pretty expensive, but I was like, look, I'm getting up there, gotta pop these babies out soon. Yeah, I was kind of desperate. Anyways, it didn't work. None of that worked. Not to say that it can't. I'm sure. I know it has for some people. But after all of that didn't work, I fell into the very common problem that people fall into, which is I've tried everything. I've tried everything in the world and nothing worked. I might as well give up. My ship has sailed. And or all the ships have sailed and I'm marooned on the island. And honestly, I'm laughing, but I felt like I actually got into a bit of a depression. I was really like sad. I was like, crap. The one thing that I thought was probably the most meaningful thing that I wanted to do with my life, since it began, my life. Maybe I wouldn't get to do it because maybe eventually I knew that eventually I would find that partner. But what if it would be too late, physiologically, you never know. So so I was really kind of depressed. I was pretty down for a little while. But I kind of had to kind of get myself back in the game. And in love, they always say a few things. So the first tool actually that I want to share is write your goals, right? And this applies in love or anything. Like you need a clear picture of what you want, right? So step number one, write your goal. And in this case, if it's love, or if it could be in another chapter of your life, like what do you want that chapter to look like, the business or whatever, right? Your dream. Write down what you want. So if it's a person, write down, how is that person? What are the characteristics, the attributes? How do you want to feel when you're with that person? How do you want them to treat you, et cetera, right? You can write down physical attributes, although I wouldn't focus on that because, beautiful surprises come in all kinds of wrappers, right? However, obviously you want that chemistry and compatibility. So, but the point is that you want to write down what you are striving for, what you would like. The second part, right? And so I had done that. Coming back to my story. I had done that. So I was like, okay, I know what I want. Why is he not showing up? Why is he not showing up? And then the second part actually was introduced to me by the last person I dated before I met my husband. And it was just a few dates, really nice guy. And, I thought like, because I had it all together by then, I was doing well. I was pretty happy. I just had like I kind of worked my way out of that depression. I was like, no, the boat hasn't sailed. I'll find a new boat. There's got to be a boat somewhere. you know, I got to just keep going and never give up, right? And he told me, he goes, Viv, I hate to break it to you. Like, I know how important it is for you to get a partner and have a kid. However, you haven't made space in your life for this person. And until you do, I don't know if you're going to be successful. And I was like, what are you talking about? Are you just like slamming me because I'm like really career driven and motivated and I love doing lots of things and I like filling my time with like taking care of myself and being my best self and like exercise and nutrition, all this kind of stuff. And he was like, well, you have a busy life, yes, but his point was something deeper, that once I got past my emotional reaction, I was able to see he was right. I had been at that time. I was actually planning. This was before COVID. I was planning a world tour. I had done a trip around the world before, and this time I wanted to do a world tour that was more related with my business. And I was planning this for over a year, and it was very exciting. I had bought all the gear and everything, but at the same time, I was planning this because I'm like, okay, look, I'm gonna just continue with my life and hopefully I'll find this guy and then he'll just like be inserted into my life, and just follow me for the ride. Not understanding that a life together is created together, right? Like we can have obviously our dreams and, support each other in those dreams. But I started to think, okay, because I would kind of hoped like, oh, maybe I'll just meet someone on the road. And maybe I could have, right? And I always said, like if I met that someone, then I would like rearrange things. And it's not necessarily a bad strategy either. However, I actually met my husband. He wasn't my husband yet. It was before he was my husband. And, in the beginning, it was like, I like him, he's nice, but like, am I going to give up all these plans that I've made that are so critical and crucial and important for my career, just to see if maybe this works out, like maybe we could like write or correspond or something, right? And I remembered what that guy said. Thank you very much if you're watching, by the way. You might be watching. Thank you, seriously. Um, I remember what he said, and he said, you know, uh, to make that space. And I thought, this is the most important thing in my life right now. This is the most important goal in my life right now. So I really need to make that space. So I made a decision. You know what? I'm going to postpone the trip for 6 months, maybe a year. And I'm not going to tell this individual, my future husband, because I didn't want to put the undue pressure or guilt or anything, and just to give it that space to see how could this unfold. And luckily, it unfolded really well. He's now my husband, and we have, a 3.5-year-old. And also, coincidentally, COVID came. So that trip never happened, and I probably would have been stuck who knows where. So, life is always happening for me, and things are happening for a reason. So the second thing is, so the first thing was, write down your intention, your goal, paint the picture of what you want. Second one is make the space. In a relationship, that can take many forms. If it's a business goal or a personal development goal, you need to make the space in your life. Schedule the time, right? Schedule the physical time to make the space for that endeavor. And then I've left the last one, which is actually the most important. And this is really the secret. It's a very simple tool, and it's a secret to unlock your best self, okay? And you know that old sort of advice, I don't know if you've heard it before, but they're like, you have to become the person that would attract that person into your life, that ideal person that you want. You need to become that person to attract that person, right? So that's not what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about. I confused you. It's what I'm talking about, but think about it differently. What you really need to become is your true self. It's your authentic self, okay? Because you're not going to be happy being a fake self in a relationship, and that relationship is going to be constructed on something that's not real, right? So all you can really be is your true and best self, right? And this is what this exercise allows you to do, to recognize who you already are, the greatness within you. And we all have a greatness within us. We all have the potential for evil crap, showing up badly. But if you set aside all those triggers, if you can master your emotions, at least a little bit, right? If you can look into the beauty and the depth of your soul, of who you are, and recognize its greatness, recognize what unique beauty you bring to the world, right? And you can love that, recognize that, and allow that to reflect in your life, in yourself, in the world, then you will attract the right person to you. Because when you meet that person, they'll see the real you, right? And you can be the real you, and you can fall in love the real you, right? So the simple exercise, without further ado, I've been keeping you in suspense on purpose, is write the top 100 things you love about yourself. And I got this wonderful exercise from Dr. Tina Hay, who is a beautiful, beautiful soul. And when I did this exercise, it completely changed my life. So I really recommend that you do this exercise. Take the time. Now, it can take you 15 minutes, or it can very easily take you 2 hours. But it is worth the time. And even if it's taking you longer, that means you're working really hard and you're doing a meaningful exercise. So again, write the top 100 things you love about yourself. Okay. Now, I know this could be hard for some people because some of us have grown up in a culture where they say, like, oh, it's bad to talk nicely about yourself or brag about yourself. But I think that the side effect of that has been, self-deprecation, which I don't think is very healthy. And we're not talking about bragging, we're not talking about ego, saying I'm better than someone else. We're talking about the truth. We are all beautiful. We all have beauty within us. We all have a unique greatness. And for you to recognize it is just to see what's true, what's there. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with recognizing it, with talking about it, with listing it on a damn paper or on your computer, right? So, and if you really, really struggle, do it anyways. And if you really, really, really struggle, stay tuned, but do it anyways. And stay tuned because I will talk more about self-esteem at a certain point and give you more exercises on that if that's something, and self-love, is that something you struggle with. However, as I've said, please do this exercise. And you might be surprised. It's very simple, okay? And so you might be thinking, like, what can that possibly do? But you might be surprised what could happen if you actually do it. Okay, so I invite you, top 100 things you love about yourself. Write it down. And I would love to hear some of those things that you write. Give me your top 5 if you dare. And or if you want, just share in the comments a story that you had about feeling how your ship has sailed, and if this video has made any difference at all, and you will stop believing in the lies that you've bought in your life. There's always time, there's always a chance. There are billions of people in the world, right? All you need to do is allow your greatness to shine, and just never give up. That's it. It's quite simple. Okay, so please share if you got value out of today's live. Please like, share, subscribe, follow, show some love. Drop your comments in the comments. I love hearing from you, and join us again tomorrow for our next live for life satisfaction. Thank you.